Hey, it's 3 a.m. You're awake. Again. Your phone's in your hand. You're doing the math. If I fall asleep right now, I can still get 4 hours. And that math is making it worse. So let's stop doing that. I'm going to tell you exactly why your body woke you up. The real science, not the Reddit theories. And then I'm going to help you fall back asleep. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to keep your eyes open. Just listen. First thing, you're not broken. You're not an insomniac. What's happening to you right now is one of the most predictable events in human biology. And once you understand it, the anxiety goes away. And once the anxiety goes away, sleep comes back. So here's what's actually happening inside your body right now. Reason 1. Your cortisol is jumping the gun. Cortisol is your wake-up hormone. Your body is supposed to start ramping it up around 4 or 5 a.m. to get you ready for the morning. It's called the cortisol awakening response. But sometimes, especially if you're stressed, if you had alcohol, if your schedule's been off, that ramp starts early. Your body fires the time to wake up signal at 3 a.m. instead of 5. You're not wired wrong. Your alarm clock is just set a little fast tonight. Reason 2, your body temperature just hit rock bottom. Your core temperature drops throughout the night. It reaches its absolute lowest point somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m. That shift, that sudden feeling of being slightly cold, slightly different, is enough to pull you out of sleep. It's why you sometimes wake up and pull the covers tighter without even knowing why. Reason 3, and this one's my favorite. You're supposed to wake up right now. Before electric lights existed, humans slept in 2 shifts. They called it first sleep and second sleep. You'd go to bed when it got dark, sleep for about 4 hours, wake up for an hour or 2 in the middle of the night, and then sleep again until morning. People would pray, talk, think. There are court records from medieval Europe where people reference their first sleep like it's the most normal thing in the world, because it was... What happened? Electric lights. Suddenly we could stay up until 11 p.m. midnight, and we compressed sleep into one block. Your body still carries the old programming. That 3 a.m. wake-up might literally be your ancestors saying hello. Reason 4. Your blood sugar just dipped. While you sleep, your liver slowly releases stored glucose to keep your brain running. Around 3 to 4 a.m., those stores can run low, especially if you didn't eat much before bed, or if you had sugar or alcohol that spiked and crashed. When glucose drops too low, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol as an emergency backup. It's a survival mechanism. It also happens to feel like suddenly being wide awake with a racing heart at 3 a.m. Reason 5. You were just dreaming. Hard. The back half of your night is dominated by REM sleep, the dreaming phase. REM peaks between 2 and 4 a.m. During REM, your brain is almost as active as when you're awake. It's processing emotions, consolidating memories, running simulations. Sometimes the dream is intense enough to wake you. Sometimes you don't even remember the dream. You just feel alert, activated. That's REM doing its job. So there it is. 5 real biological reasons you're awake right now. Not because something's wrong with you, because your body is doing exactly what bodies do. Now that you know that, now that the mystery is gone, there's nothing to solve. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to figure out. All you have to do is let yourself drift back, and I'm going to help you do that. Let's start by just settling in. You don't have to try to sleep. Trying is the enemy of sleep. It's like trying to be spontaneous. The harder you push, the further it goes. So instead, We're just going to relax your body, not to make you sleep, just because it feels good. Start with your face. Right now, your jaw is probably clenched a little. Your tongue is pressed against the roof of your mouth. Let it drop. Let your jaw go slack. Let your lips part just slightly. Now your forehead. You're holding tension there. You might not even feel it until you let it go. So let it go. Smooth it out, like someone gently pressing a warm cloth across your brow. Your shoulders. They've crept up toward your ears. They always do. Roll them back and let them melt into whatever you're lying on. Feel the weight of them. Give that weight to the bed. You don't need to carry it right now. Your hands, unclench them. Let your fingers go soft. If you're still holding your phone, that's fine. Just let your grip loosen. Rest it on your chest or beside you. You'll hear me either way. Now let's breathe, not in a complicated way, just slow. Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it gently. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out through your mouth. Slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the 4-7-8 pattern, developed by Dr. Andrew Weil, based on an ancient yogic technique called pranayama. It works because the long exhale activates your vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body, running from your brainstem to your gut. When you stimulate it, it tells your entire nervous system, we're safe, stand down, rest. Let's do it 2 more times. You don't have to count. I'll count for you. In 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. Slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And release. Let it all go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Now just breathe normally. Don't think about your breath. Don't control it. Let your body breathe you. From here on out, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to listen to every word. You don't have to follow along. I'm just going to talk for a while. Slowly, quietly, and at some point you'll drift off. You won't notice it happening. That's how it works. Sleep doesn't announce itself. It just takes you. So let's begin. I want to tell you about lighthouses, not in an important way. There's nothing you need to remember. I just think they're interesting. And tonight, interesting but calm is exactly what we need. The oldest known lighthouse was the Pharos of Alexandria, built around 280 BC on a small island off the coast of Egypt. It was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and it was enormous, somewhere between 330 and 450 feet tall. Nobody knows exactly because it was destroyed by earthquakes over 1,000 years ago. At its top, they kept a fire burning, and behind the fire they placed huge bronze mirrors, curved in just the right way to reflect the light outward across the water. Ships could see it from 30 miles away. Think about that. A fire and a mirror. That was the technology, and it saved thousands of lives. For most of history, that's all a lighthouse was, a fire on a hill. Someone had to tend it, climb the stairs, feed the flame, keep it alive through the night. There were entire families who did nothing but maintain a single lighthouse, generation after generation, born on a rock in the ocean, living their whole lives making sure a light didn't go out. There's a lighthouse in Scotland called the Bell Rock Lighthouse. It sits on a reef that's underwater most of the time. It only appears for a few hours at low tide. Ships had been wrecking on it for centuries. In 1799, an engineer named Robert Stevenson, grandfather of the writer Robert Louis Stevenson, decided to build a lighthouse on it. It took 4 years. They could only work during low tide, sometimes just a few hours a day. Workers lived on a ship anchored nearby, rowing to the rock when the water dropped. The conditions were miserable, cold, wet, dangerous. But they built it, and it's still standing, over 200 years later, still working, still shining. The light in a lighthouse rotates. Each lighthouse has its own pattern, its own signature. 2 flashes, then a pause, or 1 long flash every 10 seconds. Sailors memorized these patterns. They could look at a light on the horizon and know exactly where they were. Imagine that, being lost in the dark, on the open ocean, and then a light appears, flashing in a rhythm you recognize, and suddenly you know, I'm here, I'm okay, I know where I am. That's what lighthouses do. They don't move, they don't chase you, they just stand there shining, and you find your way to them. Most lighthouses are automated now. The keepers are gone, but the lights still turn. On rocky coasts all over the world, in places most people will never see, a light rotates in the dark for no audience at all, just in case someone needs it. Before satellites, before GPS, before airplanes, people still made maps, and the maps were beautiful. The earliest maps we found are about 14,000 years old, carved into cave walls, dots and lines that seem to represent stars and landmarks. Someone, 14,000 years ago, looked at the world and thought, I should draw this, so someone else can find their way. The ancient Greeks figured out the earth was round. Eratosthenes, a librarian in Alexandria around 240 BC, calculated the circumference of the earth using nothing but shadows and geometry. He was off by less than 2%, a librarian, with a stick and some math. But knowing the earth was round didn't mean you could map it. The problem is projection. How do you take a sphere and flatten it without distorting everything? You can't, not perfectly. That's what Gerardus Mercator tried to solve in 1569. His map, the Mercator projection, is the one you grew up looking at on classroom walls. It's useful for navigation because straight lines on the map correspond to constant compass bearings. Sailors loved it. But it stretches things near the poles. Greenland looks the same size as Africa on a Mercator map. In reality, Africa is 14 times larger. Every map is a compromise. Every map is a set of decisions about what matters and what gets distorted. There's no such thing as a perfectly accurate flat map of a round world. You just choose which lie to tell. I find that comforting somehow. Even maps, the things we use to feel oriented, are interpretations. Best guesses, close enough to be useful. And that's okay. In the age of exploration, map makers had a problem. They knew the coastlines because sailors could see them and sketch them. But the interiors of continents were a mystery, so they draw the coast in detail and then fill the middle with illustrations, mountains they imagined, rivers they guessed at. And sometimes, when they really didn't know what was there, they'd write, "Here be dragons." It only actually appears on one known globe, the Lennox globe, from around 1510. Off the coast of Southeast Asia, HC SVNT Draconis. Here are dragons. But the idea stuck. The blank spaces on the map, the places no one had been yet. Dragons. We don't have those blank spaces anymore. Every inch of the earth has been photographed from space. There are no more dragons on the map. But there are still blank spaces in other ways, in what we understand about the ocean floor, about deep caves, about what's underneath the ice in Antarctica. There's always another map to make. Let me tell you about a river. Not a specific river, just a river. It starts as snow, high up on a mountain where the air is thin and the ground is mostly rock. In spring, the snow melts, slowly at first, a trickle. Water finding the lowest point, the way water always does. It moves through gravel and moss. It picks up minerals from the rock. That's what gives mountain streams that cold, clean taste. Iron, calcium, tiny dissolved pieces of the mountain itself. The trickle meets other trickles. They merge. Now it's a stream. The stream moves downhill, always downhill. It doesn't plan its route. It doesn't know where it's going. It just follows gravity. It finds the path of least resistance, and it takes it around rocks, through gaps in fallen trees, over small ledges that become tiny waterfalls, just a foot or two high, where the water turns white for a moment before settling again. The stream enters a forest. The canopy is thick overhead, dappled light. The water here is darker, stained by tannins from decomposing leaves. It smells like earth, like wet wood, like thyme. Fish live here, small ones, darting between rocks, holding themselves steady against the current with tiny adjustments of their fins. They face upstream, always upstream. The current brings food to them. They just wait. The stream widens. Other streams join it. Now it's a river. The river moves through a valley. The banks are soft now, mud and clay instead of rock. Grass grows to the edge. Willows lean over the water, their branches trailing in the current like fingers. The river doesn't move in a straight line. It curves, it meanders. On the outside of each curve, the water moves faster, cutting into the bank. On the inside, it slows down, dropping sediment. Over decades, centuries, the curves get wider and more exaggerated. Sometimes a curve loops so far that it meets itself, and the river cuts through, leaving behind a crescent-shaped lake, an oxbow lake, a memory of where the river used to go. Everything about a river is patient. It doesn't rush. It's been doing this for thousands of years. It will do it for thousands more. The river passes through farmland, fields on both sides. At night, the water reflects the sky. Stars, clouds, the occasional light from a distant farmhouse. The surface ripples slightly in the breeze, and the reflections shimmer and break apart and come back together. There's a bridge, old stone, arched. The kind of bridge where you can see the water through gaps in the wall if you lean over. Underneath, the water echoes differently, a hollow, enclosed sound. The bridge has been here for centuries. The river was here long before that. The river gets wider, slower. The banks are further apart now. The water is deeper. You can't see the bottom anymore. It's not rushing. It's just moving, steadily, with a kind of quiet confidence. The river reaches the coast. It doesn't end dramatically. It just spreads out. The water becomes brackish, part fresh, part salt. The current slows to almost nothing. Reeds and marsh grass grow in the shallows, and then it meets the sea. There's no clear line, no boundary. The river water and the ocean water mix together slowly, gently, like two colors of paint bleeding into each other. The river doesn't stop existing. It just becomes part of something larger. Somewhere out there right now, a river is doing exactly this. Right now, as you lie here, water that was snow on a mountain a few weeks ago is reaching the ocean for the first time, and no one is watching it happen. Most things in nature happen without an audience. Rivers flow, tides shift, stars burn. Not for anyone, just because that's what they do. And right now, that's what your body is doing too. It's not waiting for you to give it permission. It's not waiting for you to stop